Right, now just before we fix the Far Cry, or whatever game you've got, as I say, if you've got a game in the actual USB loader, if you've actually got it loading up and you've just got one that's a black screen, I'm going to show you what can be the cause, and I'll give you a couple of fixes. Now, just quickly, for the people that are actually going into your homebrew from here or USB loader, if you haven't got your USB loader GX or your mod GX, whichever one you're using, if you haven't actually got it on the front page here, I will show you at the end of this, but it's in a WAD. Okay, so that's your WAD folders, so that should be on your SD card. Okay, and these are games that actually come out as WADs as well. Alright, I don't think I've got any more that way now. So you can put more on there and fill it up, but I like to save the memory and use it for the actual games. Right, so the fix now, of course, you'll go into here, your homebrew, let's say we'll start, and maybe you're getting kicked out, or black screen. Right, okay, here we go. So we go USB loader GX, bam, we'll go load. And if you get in this error, and it's kicking you back out, okay, now we just got channelless mode in here. So the reason for that, there's a few reasons, and they're easy fixes. Okay, first reason, and behind your Wii USB slots, make sure that you plug your hard drive or your USB stick into this one over here on this side. Don't plug it into this one. This one's for your controller. That one's for your Xbox, PS3 controller, whichever one you're going to be using. That one is for your USB on this side over here. Alright, so that's your first thing. Make sure you've got it in the right USB slot. Your next issue, now depending on what sort of drive you're using, are you using a hard drive? Maybe you've gone to a 500 GB and you're going to fill it up with all your game collection you've got, or maybe your game collection is not that big, you only need a 200 or something, or maybe you've just got a USB stick. Either way, I'm going to quickly show you what's causing your issue. Initially, USB stick people, you're probably not getting the issue. The reason for the black screen, or even when you go into the, if you go into a game and you get kicked out and you're going back into a black screen, or if it's kicking you right back out to the Wii system again. Okay, the reason for that is, if you've gone to too big a drive on a hard drive, you actually get those issues. Alright, that's one of the fixes. So your first fix is to go from here to a solid state drive. Okay, and try it again. But of course, if you don't want to get the solid state drive just yet, the other option you can do, your 500 GB, if it's a hard drive, you can try this first, and that's get GUI formatter, and then so download yourself a thing called GUI formatter. Okay, double click on that, and if you're on Mac or Windows, whichever, double click here. Right, and here that'll be for the 32-bit, that's for your 64-bit. Okay, now right now this will turn any size drive. See that? 2 terabyte here is, it can read the drive that I've got in there at the moment. We are not converting that one. Right, but basically from here, so this drive at the moment, that's an NTFS that's in there, and right now it'll format the whole thing to a FAT32. So that's what you want to do if you're a hard drive. So of course try that one first. If that doesn't work, then put everything on the SSD. So you may find this works and get you in the game, but then as soon as you exit game, you might be getting kicked right back out, or it might be rebooting your Wii. If that's happening, go to the SSD. Honestly, it gets rid of all your problems. But the same thing, you're still going to have to format your SSD to FAT32. You don't have to. Of course, I do find it is better. The system seems to run better with a bigger drive and making it FAT32 than having a big drive at NTFS. But the NTFS is still fine. I've found all my USB sticks, the NTFS have been fine. Alright, so we'll close out of here. Now the other issue can be if you've actually got everything formatted FAT32 and you're putting ISO files straight on there, it's not going to work. Your ISO game files, they need to be converted. So what you need to do is download yourself this one here, Wii Backup Manager. Alright, double click on that. Alright, so what this is going to do, this is where you'll bring in your games. So let's see, you've got a game that's in, if you've actually got to say, if you're on a FAT32 drive and you've made that big drive a FAT32, you are going to have to convert all your ISO files to a WBFS. Now, if you're on an NTFS drive, if you've formatted your SSD here or your hard drive to the NTFS, you will want to keep all your game files as an ISO file, and you will not have to go through this problem here. But as I say, I've found if you put everything on FAT32 and, as I say, use the GII formatter to do that, and then put all your games as WBFS, you can hold your whole game collection, and I don't seem to have any issues that way. Okay. So next fix. Now those fixes there that I just told you, that should stop any of your, when you're going in, it should stop you getting kicked out. Or when you're going into a game, like you might be going in, but when you're going into the game, it's kicking you right back out, or it's turning off your Wii. One of those fixes that I've just given you should stop that. Okay. Now the next thing you want to do, now let's say you've got your system actually as an NTFS. Okay, this is how you want to set up your NTFS file. Okay. So you'll notice here I've got everything in capitals. Okay, starting with a capital. Alright, so that's how you want to set up your USB drive. Alright, so you want in games, that's where your Nintendo games are going to go. You want saves, and you want WBFS. WBFS all in capitals. But I only do this for the NTFS. Okay. I don't worry about it for the FAT32, but you are going to have to make sure, because this might be another reason you're getting kicked out. Let's say you're actually going into it, into your game to load the game, no matter which one. You know, maybe you're actually going in fine, all your games are showing up, but you're getting kicked out of the games. You may not have this, so make sure you've got the disk info. Oh, get this clear again. Alright, you'll see there 4 kilobyte. Alright, so we're going out of here. So that's your WBFS file. Has to be in there. Alright. Now the same with games. For games, you've got the boot doll. Okay, you'll see there's a file size of it. So make sure that you have got those files. This here was, you can get a thing called Organizer ISOs for your GameCube, and that'll just organize your ISOs into the right format of how they should be written to be able to boot up. So that's another thing you can use. Alright. But as I say, it's for your NTFS. Now for your GameCube, if you can't find the organized ISO thing, this is how you want to set it up. Okay, so you want your game ID .iso, and then here your game file. Okay, now this is the way to set it up. I mean, as I say, don't worry about capitals when I'm doing the FAT32. Okay, yeah, I mean, you don't have to have these files in here. And that one's for your Wii, and that one's for your Nintendo, and they actually go in in here. I just have them there. I've got a backup one. But so you see there, disk info. And then boot doll. Alright. Now, as I say, this is, so you're going to have your Nintendo on here, as well as you're going to have your GameCube, Nintendo GameCube, and you're also going to have your WBFS files for your Wii games here. But you don't have to do that if you've only got your Wii games. You just put that there. You don't have to put the games folder in, but you will need those boot and doll and game info ones. Okay. So hopefully that's helped. That should help all those issues that have been at hand, your black screens, etc. Now we are going to get on quickly. I have got videos on how to tune different games, but just quickly, like on the black screen here, everything's showing up but one game and you can't get it going. As I say, normally that's your format. Just check it. It might have come out when you've copied it. You might have copied it as the wrong file format. So as I say, make sure if it's an NTFS that you're putting in the file format you're putting on your card. Make sure you're using ISO files of your games. You don't have to convert them, but if you are using the FAT32, you are going to have to convert your games down to the WBFS, which is where you're going to need the Wii Backup Manager, which was the one we went over just before. Alright, and that will just load your games. I'll show you quickly how to use it if you don't know how to use it. Alright, so this is the Wii Backup Manager. Now let's say you've actually got your game files on your computer. What you want to do here is go over to the Files tab, and you'll get them from there. If you've actually got your games your game collection stored on a USB drive or a hard drive, you want to click on one of these, okay, and that'll bring up what drives you actually have plugged in. Okay, so what we're going to do is go Files here, and I'm going to go Add, okay, Add Files. Now I've got some here on the desktop, so we're on the desktop. Alright, now initially these aren't going to work. These are actually on NKit, so these are actually going to be converted to an ISO file. I'll show you for instance what may happen. I was actually putting it through. It won't actually work because it's an NKit. Oh, it normally doesn't convert that over to WBFS, but anyways. But anyway, what will actually happen is if you just put an ISO file in there, you'll actually have it come up here. You'll see it here in the selections. Okay, you'll see here. I mean, this is yeah, it's not going to work there. But anyway, it hasn't even shown up the game. So your game will come up in here, and it will actually, and then you'll show over here, and it will keep converting it. Once it's finished, it will let you know, and it will convert your ISO file to a WBFS. Okay, you can also convert and swap them over to whatever different drives you want. And just quickly with your GameCube games, let's say just to make sure, right, so that's what your game should look like as well. Disk image file, okay, and that's for the FAT32. Right, so now we're getting to the fixing of, as I say, if you've got one game and the whole lot is just not quite loading, they've got other game fixes, but just a quick setting if it is for the likes of Far Cry. Now, of course, we had the black. Remember last time we came into here, Far Cry was actually black. And of course that was because it was actually sitting in a ISO file and it wasn't converted to a WBFS. Okay. Now, depending on what settings you went for, when I told you how to set up your D2X IOS, you can just leave it on global, everything should work. In the case that it doesn't, you may get the odd game, won't be many. But let's see, so these are the settings you'll want to make this one work. It's right there, change it to 248 instead of global on the game IOS. Now the other thing, if you've done all the other things, you're still getting kicked out. Like when you exit a game, it's going right back to the Wii menu. That's because of here. You want to make sure that you're telling it the games to return to USB Loader GX mod or USB Loader GX, whichever one that you're using to store your games. Alright. On default, of course, that's returning you out to the Wii, so you need to make sure you change that. So that's the other reason you might be getting kicked out when exiting a game. So those other fixes were more for black screen when you try to load up, or black screen once you go into games and you're getting kicked out. But if you're actually going into games fine, everything's loading up fine, and you're getting kicked out right back to menu, and that's the only issue you've got, your games, everything's working fine, you may just not have that set right. So just set that right and you'll be away. And alternate old default. Right, so hopefully this video has helped you out with your black screen issues. There's been a few of you, not many, but there's the odd few there that had a couple of issues, so hopefully it's helped with each one of them. Alright, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, that way this video gets out there to help others. Alright, enjoy the gaming.